there is also a bit of a perception that with the DLS in the modern game where sides bat deeper than they ever do, they've got players down the order that can hit boundaries better than ever before, that DLS maybe doesn't quite fully account for that in a rain-reduced chase.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see an inclement forecast, it's very rare a side chooses to bat first. As Langston this time is cut away. First runs of the final, and it's a beautiful cut shot for 4 from Parfitt. A real nerve settler for her, having played and missed a couple of times.
Yeah, just given that little bit of extra width, and this time a little bit more foot movement. Foot movement. Tell you what's on my brain this morning. Foot movement. The first 2 deliveries didn't really, sort of got stuck in her crease a little bit and had a bit of a waft at them. But now up and running today, Glamorgan, in this final. And as we said, anyone just tuning in, it has been decided to be shortened to a T20 rather than the 50 overs.
Yeah, good pragmatic common sense used by all here today.
Oh, in cricket. Oh.
Langston responds by going fuller, and is beautifully driven straight down the ground for 4. What a pair of shots from Parfitt. Back-to-back boundaries for her, and suddenly a good over from Langston. It's being somewhat spoiled.
I mean, if I could play a shot like that, that would be all over the internet, because this is just a perfect looking shot. Hold the post, straight back over the head, straight as an arrow, couple of bounces, and even on a slightly damp outfield, a damp outfield, goes for 4.
Yeah, finals are often weird. They're often unusual, and you can already put this one in that category in terms of what the players are having to deal with out there across the weather, the change of format. Langston this time inducing another play and miss. End of the first over, which you probably just about call honours even. A couple of lovely boundaries from Parfitt, but Langston taking encouragement from, I think, 3 play and misses across the piece. I mentioned how key Lauren Parfitt is. She has 376 runs in this competition this season at an average of 75, but you can only take so much from that because this has become a T20 game. Now, it won't surprise you to know that a player of her quality did have a very good blast as well. And if there's ever a player you want who's very well suited to a match being changed from 50 overs to T20, someone like Abby Freeborn opening the batting is almost perfect. Her head coach Rachel Priest talked about the impact she's had as power striker up the top of the order. She wasn't in 100 this season. That gave Glamorgan across this competition. She's averaging just shy of 80. Gives you an idea of just how good these Glamorgan openers have been. She's facing up to Jess Woolston. Woolston right on the button first up. Freeborn guiding that back. I mentioned that she's on loan from Warwickshire. It is something that's been a topic of discussion through the competition. So you can have 3 senior loan players from any Tier 1 side, so currently active professional cricketers, but you can have an unlimited number of academy loanees as well. And in the Glamorgan lineup today, Emily Burke on loan from the Surrey Academy, Gemma Porter on loan from the Warwickshire Academy, Freeborn and Bethan Ellis are on loan from Warwickshire. It's Freeborn again guiding that back. Nice start this from Woolston.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a discussion, hasn't it, really, around who loans where, what happens, going up and down between the tiers. Obviously, we've got Stair Callis as part of this Yorkshire side, who I think has played more cricket matches than anyone this summer, as part of
the workhorse.
Yorkshire. Honestly, because we did that T20 finals, didn't we? We did the Tier 2, it was the Saturday.
Yep.
She then got the car from that one, where she was playing for Yorkshire, to then go and play in the Tier 1 the next day for Warwickshire.
Down the track, Freeborn, just trying to change the length of Woolston, but guiding it straight to backward point. Of course, the Callis, the reverse of what Glamorgan had done, in the sense that she's Yorkshire's player borrowed to the Tier 1 outfit. The same thing happened with Lauren Winfield Hill, the Essex loan. I had an interesting conversation with Amy Rees, the Glamorgan Director of Cricket, about the way that they've used the loan system. She gave 3 clear, distinct reasons for Glamorgan using it as much as they have. tries to help it round the corner. Ends up missing it, Freeborn, who's still yet to score here. She does like to move around sidewards in her crease a lot to try and manipulate bowlers' lines and lengths. Amy Rees, head of Glamorgan Cricket, said, "We've made the most use of the loan system for anyone. For us, it's about our Tier 2 players seeing what Tier 1 players look like, how they prepare, how they train, how they reflect after games. It's for us to be competitive. It's hard for us to develop our younger players if we cannot compete in games for longer." So it's just nibbled away off the outside edge. Good diving stop, make sure it's just one. Freeborn slightly nervously off the mark from her 5th ball face. And the third and final reason for Glamorgan is it's essentially a recruitment tool. If you come to Glamorgan and you're playing games, you're enjoying that environment, there's every chance that when Glamorgan step up into Tier 1 in 2027, far stranger things have happened than some of those players who've been on loan and have had a good experience end up coming and joining the Welsh outfit as they step up. So those are the 3 reasons for Glamorgan using that, and it's worked very well for them across the season, you would say. A semi-final in the T20 and now here at this final. It's Parfitt hit on the pads. No one really interested in the LBW appeal apart from a fielder we can spot out at point, which is always a clue that it's not the best shout. End of 2 pretty tight overs from Yorkshire, particularly tight one from Woolston. 10 without loss after 2. Glamorgan, of course, here with the best record of anyone in Tier 2 50 over cricket this season. They've won 8. They've had 1 no result in a game against Northants they were quite well placed in. And they've had just the 1 defeat. Yorkshire, meanwhile, have a much patchier record, but that also reflects loss of availability for certain players to the 100, which somewhat damaged them. Yorkshire actually only just snuck into a semi-final spot. 5 wins and 4 defeats, but all 5 wins were bonus point wins, which was key in getting them through. Worcestershire managed 5 wins as well, but just 2 bonus points. In fact, beg your pardon, it was Gloucestershire, and Worcestershire and Sussex were chasing them hard as well. They managed 4 wins. Langston's on for a second over. So that's lofted down the ground. It's not quite fully timed, and it's a bit of almost a pitching wedge on the golf course, and it is hauled in. Good dedication out there. Plugged on what is a slow, wet outfield, and it was Ria Thakral with the initial work before Hannah Rainey completed the job.
It was interesting, that one, because it made a wonderful crunch off the bat, but you can sort of see she sort of checked her shot, didn't fully swing through it, and you can even see she's showing on the camera there, just indicating that it sort of sat up, and it just went a lot higher than it did long in the end. And as you say, a very damp outfield, just plugged, didn't find the boundary. But I like the intent, trying to take on Langston here.
Down the ground again off Langston, and that is a better strike. And that will go for 4. Well, it won't actually. My goodness me, this outfield is not value for runs. That one was actually timed a little bit better, but it really did plug immediately in that outfield. And again, it's Thakral who does the fielding. And again, it's a quickly scampered 2 between this pair.
Yeah, it runs along the carpet. There's not going to be a lot of bounce. I think we can safely say that from those last 2 aerial shots, just plugging. Incredible, it's not gone to the boundary.
This time, nicely struck, but straight at mid-on, and there's a little bit of work to do for Freeborn to make her ground at the bowler's end, but she does. Yeah, it reminds me, I had a catch up with Rachel Priest, Glamorgan head coach, in the middle of the week, and one of the things she said, she was like, I was talking to her about messaging to a player. She was like, I hate it when coaches say finals just normal days, it's just like any other game. She was like, finals are weird, they're stressful and unusual things happen. And my goodness me, I caught up with her at the ground this morning, and first thing we just said was, what did we talk about, hey? We turned up and there's frost on the ground. There's, not on the outfield, just to be clear, but on the bits that are just beyond the boundary rope, there is frost. It's a slow, wet outfield. It's not a 50 over game, and it's set to pour with rain in 2 hours. That's really beautifully connected with down the ground from Parfitt. Shot of the day so far. Have been peppering that straight V off Langston, makes room outside leg, and then gets those fast hands through the ball. Lovely boundary.
Yeah, beautiful looking stroke, isn't it? All along the carpet. As I said, if it bounces, it's probably not going to the boundary, but this time, completely flat along the floor. And even on a slightly damp outfield, that's going to go. And, oh, diving at that one. You're just going to have mud all down your front.
It's testament to the timing of it, though. Even to get 4 all along the carpet, you've got to nail it today. Bumper from Langston, something that she likes to do. She's known for. It's a bit of a signature move of hers, is the change up. And it was a decent bumper, and it was well played by Parfitt. Looks in very confident form for her 17 off 12. She's known as one of the legends of Welsh cricket. Wales captain for 7 consecutive seasons before a lot of that Welsh team migrated over to Glamorgan in the new setup. She played a few seasons for Western Storm in the old regional structure as well.
Seems a long time ago already, that regional structure, doesn't it? It was only last year, and then it all changed ahead of this year. But seems like a long-lost friend.
Cut away. Just dropped a bat on it, Freeborn. Wasn't a full-blooded cut. Yeah, still getting used to finals days. End of the 3rd over, 20 without loss. Best over so far for Glamorgan. 19 without loss, beg your pardon. And 8-9 coming off that particular over. Still getting used to finals days in women's cricket where you turn up and Southern Vipers aren't there. There's no discussion of who might stop the Vipers, who might beat the Vipers. Of course, broadly speaking, subsumed into Hampshire in the change of things.
I think last time we did a finals day together here, it was a Vipers win.
It was the chaos.
The Charlotte Edwards Cup, the T20 that went across 2 days, the longest T20 ever.
That's where you get into, Thunder were beaten by Vipers in the elimination, and then Vipers beat Blaze.
Across 2 days.
Across 2 days. You felt for Blaze because they dominated the league that season. Then again, finals are weird, finals are strange. Woolston back for her second. Her first was impeccable. Woolston this time troubling Parfitt, who's batting out of her crease, so that's clever from Woolston. Just deciding to bang one in a little shorter, and it's a rare shot today that Parfitt's missed time. Parfitt's had a curious innings. She played and missed at 3 in the first over off Langston and looked quite nervous. She's played some glorious shots since. Kicked into gear.
It sounds odd. It almost looks like she was cold at the beginning. Do you know what I mean? She hadn't really got moving and sort of warmed herself up. And that's not me making a joke about it. She sort of just needed to get into it and start moving.
Oh, that's guided away. That'll be for clever controlled shot from Parfitt. She knows she's just got to help it past that gully. It might be off the outside edge, but there was an element of she knew exactly what she was doing, just trying to help it in that gap, and would have been pretty unlucky to be caught. So Parfitt continues on her merry way. She's got 21 off 14 here.
Yeah, this is just what they need, actually. A strong partnership up the top. Set that sort of foundation after being put into bat in the, as we said, difficult batting conditions. And so if these two can really get going. Parfitt 21 from 14 now. Abby Freeborn struggling a little bit at the other end. But if Parfitt's on strike, she's seeing it nicely now.
Left alone outside off. Traditional leave. Won't see too many of those today. But Parfitt just clearly decided... Well, I think she was also maybe hoping it was outside the blue line and was wide. And it was perfectly just inside the blue line from Jess Woolston, who pulled out, when taking a wicket in the blast earlier this season, a sort of chainsaw of starting the lawnmower celebration, and she's got so much stick for it. She's got so much stick for it since that we haven't seen a single even remote celly from her since. But there's been some jokes in the camp that we might get something for finals day if she takes a wicket. It's that short and pulled down the ground. Thackrell Fields on the bounce, and had she hit, would have been a yard out. That's a lucky escape for Parfitt, who was slow to set off. I think she wasn't really aware of the potential danger. It's great work by Thackrell.
Yeah, direct hit and she was gone. It was a little bit of ball watching from both batters there. Slow out of the traps, but safe in the end. So Abby Freeborn now needs to start the car. Start the chainsaw.
Start the chainsaw. Well, she normally doesn't need much invitation to do so, Freeborn. Who cuts that away through third. It's one of her favourite areas. Abby Freeborn. She shimmies to step away to leg. Woolston goes wide, and and just guides it for 4. Lovely shot, second boundary in the over.
Yeah, beautiful looking shot, great placement. Knows there's a gap there, and also knows that playing it along the ground like that, you're far more likely for it to go to the boundary than if you're trying to go aerial.
I've been peppering that third area, Yorkshire, Glamorgan, and I'm a little bit surprised that Yorkshire haven't adopted their field set. They've had a cover point the entire innings, and they've got a deep backward square leg as their 2 allowed out in the power play. Well, that's a wide. Walston just overcompensating a little. So this over's gone for 10 with 1 ball left. She's got a 5-4, but it's clear to me here that the plan from both Walston and Langston is to really hang the ball well outside off. And if it is, part of me is surprised you don't trust them with a 6-3. Get 1 more across, potentially, in that sort of gully, backward point kind of area, because that's where it's most likely to go. Well, they are changing the field now, almost as if they've heard me. Yeah. But it's not a switch to a 6-3, but it is a swap that makes more sense. They've got a deep backward point in now, and a short cover point. Comes down the track, pulls this away through the onside, doesn't quite get all of it. It's more power and muscle than timing, but it does go for 4. Aggressive shot from Freeborn, who has a happy knack, because she's such a powerful player, of finding the boundary even when it doesn't necessarily look like the most beautifully timed cricket shot you've seen.
Yeah, as you say, not the most beautiful, bit of just a swing across the line, not quite timed, but enough on it. And again, along the carpet, even far more likely than trying to go aerial. 2 fielders are giving chase, and almost that kind of chase when you know you're actually not going to catch up with it, but you can't slow down. You have to chase it, because otherwise you have to look like you're chasing it, and they're the worst, because you know you're not going to catch up with it, and the ball is going to win that race.
It's performance acting.
It is, yes. And then you have to sort of put your hands on your head. Oh, I tried so hard.
33 without loss after 4. Unsurprisingly, Yorkshire are going to change things up, giving Glamorgan's confident start. Claudie Cooper into the attack. She's had a really good season. Joining from Surrey, has played in every game, but she starts by being a touch short. Parfitt played that perfectly at the top of the bounce. Big chase for the fielder coming round to point, which is Campbell, who was assisted by Callis, but Campbell able to do it all on her own. The slow outfielders hauled that one in. Comfortable too. We can't necessarily see tons here from our position lower mid-wicket, but you can see where a batter goes in terms of using their crease, and that was a great example of Parfitt going back to spin. Parfitt now coming forward, timing this well. Decent stop by Langston away to her left. Good cricket all round. Claudie Cooper, who in this competition this season is the 10th highest wicket taker, and when you look at the top 20 wicket takers, she's got the 2nd best economy rate, so that reflects what a fantastic tournament she has. She's been picking up wickets, she's been keeping it tight. 14 wickets at an average of 18. She's pushing that one through quicker and flatter, but it's over pitched, and Freeborn just flat bats it through the offside for 4. Little too full, little too wide. And with the way Freeborn likes to step outside leg to the spinners, she's well set for that kind of ball. 4 more. Flying start for Glamorgan. Yeah,
well, this is a really good comeback, actually, from Abby Freeborn. She was 1 from 6 and then found herself on strike. There was that little bit of confusion with swapping ends at one point. Could have been a run out with a direct hit. Found herself on strike and knew that she had to get going because she was slowing things down. And now she really has done. And a racing start. Move on to 40 inside 5 overs.
Giving that one more flight, getting herself a dot. Yeah, would have been some nerves flying around that Glamorgan dressing room. Remember, they lost to Yorkshire in T20 semi-final between these sides, and they lost quite comfortably in the end by 7 wickets with 15 balls to spare. So that's again straight back to Cooper, and then chuck in the fact that, of course, you've lost the toss on a pitch everyone was desperate to bowl on. You've got to try and put that and the weather out of your mind, and Parfitt and Freeborn, they're batting just like their records have been in this competition, which is quite splendidly. Cooper again gives it more flight. They'll pinch a single in front of Thackrell at mid-on. End of the over. Cooper came back well, having gone for 7 off her first 3. 8 from it. 41 without loss after 5. If you're a Glamorgan fan, near perfect start.
Yeah, great start this for Glamorgan, especially after losing the toss and being put into bat. Obviously, both captains saying they would have wanted to have a bowl first, and we can understand why. So another over of power play still to come with those fielding restrictions still in. And it looks like we're going to have a change in bowler. So now a change in bowler from both ends.
Yeah, Hannah Rainey signed recently on a 2-year contract from Lancashire that will kick in at the start of next season.
Yeah, so Hannah Rainey from the New Road end.
She took a double wicket maiden in the semi-final to get rid of 2 of Middlesex's key players. Managed to remove both Finty Trustler and Pippa Sproul in an over that had a big influence on that semi-final win at Radlett.
Big swing across the line from Freeborn, sat up there to be hit. Just a little bit of a loosener from Rainey right into the swinging arc of Abby Freeborn, who's seeing it really nicely now.
Yeah, Freeborn likes to go deep in her crease. She's very awkward to bowl to, Freeborn. She moves around in a, it's almost anti-textbook manner. She's almost always going
Chuck it out of the window.
Back in her crease, or she's stepping across to leg, or she's stepping back to leg, I should say, stepping across to the offside. Gives Rainey something to think about.
This time, again, steps back in her crease. Can't connect. And that's actually really good delivery.
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on from Freeborn. She's a great example of the beauty of cricket, which is it being an individual sport in a team sport gives people a chance to express themselves in a very individual way with what works for them. It's a very unorthodox technique she's got, but it's very impressive in terms of its output.
Again, a slight step back in the crease, guiding it down to third, and that hole is plugged.
It's worth saying as well, Yorkshire will have some bad memories of Abby Freeborn this season because she crashed 78 not out of 47 balls in a County Cup quarter-final win when she was playing for her parent county as such, which was the Bears, as Yorkshire were knocked out in that competition, having seen off Essex in round 3. So there won't be too much fear for her facing Yorkshire. And of course, Glamorgan have beaten Yorkshire when these sides faced off in this competition in the group stage.
Oh, here comes Rainey again. Finds the edge over Lauren Winfield Hill this time, using the pace for more.
Yeah, I'm going to give Parfitt the benefit of the doubt there. I think Parfitt knows that there's not a lot of cover. Just got to beat Gully 50 up in really good time.
Yeah, great start this for Glamorgan. Exactly what they would have wanted. You know, there was this sort of unknown quantity coming into this match today, and then it's becoming a T20, but both captains saying, you know, it didn't really affect their preparations too much. It's about coming into a final and just putting down a marker and playing the game that is in front of you, and the game that's in front of them is a T20 game, and that's exactly how these two openers are playing. Yeah, this time bowling to the field, thought about coming through for a single. Abby Freeborn keen to get back on strike.
Yeah, with different batting lineups constructed in a slightly different way, I think you might have seen more changes to the Glamorgan order. But with Lauren Parfitt and Abby Freeborn, they're both top quality players at this level and also players who are naturally aggressive. Neither one is really known for being more of a builder, so we're an obvious remaining opening combo.
Short again, goes aerial. Lauren Winfield Hill takes the catch, and finally this opening partnership is broken. Swings around, didn't know where that had gone, and, well, Lauren Winfield Hill, she's a World Cup winner. She is not dropping that.
Yeah, Hannah Rainey gets a big breakthrough. Yorkshire have got to use it as a chance to regroup. Lauren Parfitt's played really nicely for her. 29 off 21. Was just early on this. It's stuck in the pitch. It is a slow track. We've already seen that this morning. Wonder if it was a change up from Rainey. One thing's for sure, Parfitt was very, very early on it. The point of contact is almost off the toe of the bat. It's the simplest of takes for Winfield Hill, but Lauren Parfitt can be really proud of her work off the field. I know there'll be a lot of people would have been watching that at Baysleg School in Newport, where she's secondary school teacher and head of year when she's not proudly representing Glamorgan. And out at number 3, just as we were talking about rejigged batting orders, chucked up to 3 from 6 is the Surrey Academy loanee Emily Burke, who has England under-19s experience as well, and gets her opportunity to impress. It won't surprise you to know, given that promotion, she's naturally probably the most aggressive player in this Glamorgan top 7. So there's plenty of insurance policies to come after her. She will have, if you want to get all James Bond about it, the license to thrill. So hopefully she can thrill us with some stroke playing. And meanwhile, having just signed her Yorkshire rookie professional contract, and my goodness me, ever present this season, is Olivia Thomas. Tough day to be a leggy. You can see her breathing on her hands, which will be cold, but she has had a quite magnificent season for the White Rose, having crossed the Pennines from Lancashire. Out of the power play, of course.
So umpire signals, there it is, end of the power play, fielding restrictions reduced. Oh, there were a few celebrations there. They thought perhaps that had just clipped the bail at the top. Great.
I think it was a caught behind. Few that aren't, larger than life character as well.
I think you've got to be a character to be a leggy. There's something about it, isn't it? Again, not quite timed, but the first run's off Thomas's bowling.
Yeah, an inspiration off the field as well. Olivia Thomas, well worth watching, listening to the Nobles TCP podcast, where she talks about life with ADHD and autism. Speaking as someone who's also neurodiverse, very inspirational to see someone be that open about explaining how life works for them. I know she's had a lot of really good help in her time at Lancashire and Yorkshire with fitting in. That's guided back down the ground. He's a heck of a cricketer as well. Really impressive all-rounder. She's grown in stature at Yorkshire this season. She was essentially signed because they wanted an extra spinner, had missed pre-season, and has ended up becoming a key all-rounder in the operation.
Well, she's been key in slowing things down here. That wicket, obviously, was very important. But now Thomas on to bowl. She's gone for just 1 run so far, coming out of the power play as well. This is exactly what Yorkshire needed, backing up a wicket with slowing down that run rate, because it's still up at nearly 7.5.
And it reflects the season that she's had.
Looks to sweep around the corner here. Again, the big appeal and wide signalled. Straying slightly down that leg side.
Well, yeah, we were just talking about her being someone who's quite the character. You can see the reaction from Thomas. She feels like there was an edge on this. We don't really have the Snicko level facilities to be able to tell you with any certainty. It's a great take by Winfield Hill regardless.
Aerial this time. Fielder coming in off the boundary. Takes the catch, and that is what pressure does. You build pressure. Batter tries to do something a little bit different, and no mistake taking the catch.
So the promotion up to 3 for Emily Burke hasn't worked. She's gone for a 3-ball duck. 52 for 2 at the end of the 7th. This old cricketing cliche about adding 2 wickets to a score, completely changing the complexion of a final.
It's one of those as well, 1 brings 2. So the wicket, then we were just saying about the pressure built by Thomas and trying to take it on, not timed, easily taken in the end by Maddie Ward.
Yeah, pretty simple catch, but was caught with her bottom hand coming through a little too quickly, and she ended up playing kind of outside her box, like times it too early, sort of scoops it up, and I think that's going to become a theme of the day here. We've seen 2 dismissals already where batters are trying to play aggressive shots and they are caught very early on the ball, and that reflects what we suspected with the weather conditions, which is that we've got a slow, low green pitch, and it might be one where, despite it being a T20, an approach of controlled aggression rather than all-out aggression is what is needed. As Bethan Ellis, take 2, walks to the wicket on loan from Warwickshire. She's had a great tournament and she hit 41 off 38 against Yorkshire in the T20 semi-final, so that will be in her psychological mind bank. She was the top scorer in the semi-final of this competition, 70 off 98 in a low-scoring win against Northants. She's at the non-strikers, of course, because it's the end of the over.
So Cooper is going to continue from the new road end. Went for 8 from her first. Extra bit of flight, just dropping at the feet of Freeborn. She adds 1 more to her total. She's just been watching wickets tumble for the last couple of overs.
Yeah, fascinating to see what Freeborn does here. She's a naturally very aggressive player, but I just wonder, we're now out of the power play, lost a couple, does she look at what she's noticed and picked up from that wicket and reassess her level of aggression and what a good total might be?
Well, Ellis is off the mark straight away, and a bit of a better throw, and perhaps Freeborn could have been in trouble there. Amy Campbell gives it the big roar, not pleased with herself.
We had the benefit of being pretty side on when it comes to run outs today. I think with a better throw, Freeborn might have been in that situation where you need the dive to save you.
Aerial this time, and hit, struck hard, struck really well, and breaking the shackles, picks up a boundary.
This is something to notice that Abby Freeborn does a lot with the spinners. She tends to like to create angles by backing away to leg against seam. Against spin, she likes to step across to the offside, knowing that even if the spinner tries to dart it in at the wide line, she can still slog sweep across the line. It's a really productive shot for her.
Early call of yes. I like this. Doing well to rotate the strike. And that's smart cricket. Back up the boundary with a single.
And it's brought a change in the field as well. So Cooper now has really got to bowl quite straight because she's got a 5-4 onside field.
Just rocks off the back foot this time. Well, okay, what I absolutely love, Michael, she's wearing sunglasses.
It's a bit of her aesthetic, Claudie Cooper. I don't think I've seen her without them on the field pretty much all season, apart from when she's batting, of course.
Thinks about shuffling down the pitch at this one, does Ellis, and in the end just decides on the defensive shot.
That is a perfect example of, for any young player, that coming down the pitch does not necessarily mean that once you're there you need to play an aggressive shot. She got there, she realised it wasn't there for it, just covered up and blocked it. It's a sign of a good batter who's composed and in control. 59 for 2 off 8. So from the last 14 balls, there's been just 9 runs scored and 2 wickets.
Yeah, it's exactly what Yorkshire needed to try and bring this game back in their grasp, because that opening pair was starting to really take it to them. Shortened game here at Worcester New Road for anyone just tuning in. Obviously for the Metrobank Tier 2 Cup Finals. Normally 50 overs a side, but some, well, pretty awful looking weather around. I can't really think of any better way to describe it. So decided that it'd be reduced to a T20 match to try and get a full game in. And, well, it could be raining later, but it's rainy now. Has a wild swing at this one.
Yeah, change of ends for Hannah Rainey, who picked up a wicket but went for 9 off her first.
Some real away movement.
Yeah, Langston was getting really good away shape from that end as well. And I wonder whether that's, with Rainey also bowling away swing, one of the things that's influenced Yorkshire to switch ends for her. She won her contract against at Yorkshire partially by playing so well against them earlier this season.
That's really well bowled. They're kind of just got to jam your bat down. You miss, I hit. Again, bit of movement in the air.
Yeah, near perfect Yorker from Rainey. So she played against Yorkshire at Wheatwood in round 3 of the County Cup. She got Lauren Winfield Hill out, and she was unerring in taking 1 for 16 from 4 overs in a T20 game. And I know Rich Pyra said seeing up close what a skillful bowler she was, factored into them eventually signing her. Whoa. Rainey again with another Yorker.
No idea where that had gone, Abby Freeborn. Has a look at toe end of a bat and just ends up hugging it.
A wry smile on her face. That's one of those moments you can see being turned into a meme on socials. Just the way she was clinging to the bat, smiling as if to say, I'm so happy I've survived.
I have absolutely no idea what is happening.
Which is rare that you find yourself saying that when Abby Freeborn's got a bat in her hand.
This time again, not quite timed. And they do well to scamper through. Just finds that bottom edge. Bethanel is flying out of the traps at the other end, like she's off in Tokyo at the World Athletics Championships. Which has been very rainy itself, actually.
Yeah, 2 things you definitely have a lot of sympathy for someone trying to do in the rain, whether it's athletics or cricket.
I was watching athletics a couple of weeks ago, it was a Diamond League, and it was honestly biblical weather. And I was just looking at these shot putters thinking, how on earth are you holding this? Or someone's running along to do the pole vault, which I think is a terrifying prospect anyway.
Yeah.
In the rain, you then have to launch yourself over it. And yeah, it was a strong no for me.
Rather you than me, kind of thing.
Nicely guided, this one.
Hannah Rainey's a bit of an inspiration for the late bloomer, the late developer, someone who doesn't give up on her dream. She's had a fair share of injury issues. She, for a while, was on a combination of a Cricket Scotland part-time contract and then was part-time at Lancs, was then full-time at Lancs, but had some really bad luck with injuries while she was there. She was in the Oval Invincible squad for the 100 in 2023, but by her own admission had been in and around professional cricket a lot without quite being a professional cricketer or playing as much as she wanted.
Full again, and just guided away by Freeborn.
And ultimately, Rainey's reward has been a 2-year contract with Yorkshire. She paused her excellent work as a veterinary surgeon in 2023, even though she wasn't at that point a full-time cricketer, just to give her every chance of thinking basically one last chance. I want to know I've done everything I can to make this dream happen. So days like this, and that semi-final where she bowled brilliantly, are the kind that will make her feel like the gamble was all worth it.
Again, not quite timed by Ellis, and a good sliding stop by Amy Campbell in the covers.
It's funny, we were talking about 64 for 2 off 9, things that you'd rather not be doing. Well, for Hannah Rainey, you might think that bowling in these conditions is what you want to be doing, to be fair, but if it really starts raining, maybe you'd rather not be. But the alternative for Hannah Rainey is up in Scotland birthing baby cows, which in the winter you're looking at, you go down to about minus 12 degrees out on the farm.
So this is practically tropical.
And physically birthing the cow.
Birthing cows. You know what was not on my bingo card today, Michael? Discussion of birthing cows.
But that is something that Hannah Rainey spent a decade training for.
Oh, cricket's easy.
And that exactly right. What What an incredible
You
story.
can lift a baby cow. You can hit a cricket ball.
You can do anything.
Mm.
That will be post-retirement, likely, where she heads back to.
What are you off to after you stop playing cricket? I'm going to go birth some baby cows. Got time to make up for.
Liv Thomas has changed ends.
Yeah, so Liv Thomas now from the new road end. There's a little bit of an appeal there. It was sort of Lauren Winfield Hill, the most excited. And then the direct hit. Sort of caught napping. Great bit of work in the field. 3 stumps to aim at.
I think she was just about okay, but have been guilty at times of being maybe a touch more casual than they should be with the running today,
Yes,
Glamorgan.
lackadaisical.
Yeah. Umpire Chandari has rearranged the furniture. Tense, so Glamorgan might be looking at, they want that milestone of 150 or somewhere up around from here with a bit of acceleration.
Here comes Thomas again. And that should just be one more to the total.
But the thing to remember when we talk about that acceleration is it's a very difficult pitch to start on. So the role of Freeborn here is absolutely pivotal. She's been out there for 26 balls. She has 29. If she can accelerate from here, that could be a huge differential.
Almost falls over this time, does Ella. She squared herself up and then full front on, down on her right knee.
And again, it's a demonstration of how slow the pitch is. She was in position to play that shot sort of 2 business days before the ball had got there.
She waits again. Well, goes for the reverse this time. The full toss from Liv Thomas does well to actually stretch and get to it.
And again, Ellis in position very early. It's that kind of pitch that tests your timing and shot selection. And then, of course, we've already discussed the outfield is not extensive value for money when it comes to the currency of runs.
No. The outfield's not an AstroTurf. Big appeal. Lauren Winfield Hill really likes it. It's difficult for us to tell from square leg.
Impact outside the line of off stump. It's the immediate first thought looking at that replay. She just got her pad enough outside that line of off for me.
Don't ask, don't get though. Liv Thomas again making things happen, keeping batters guessing. One more to come in this over. This time just turned away. It should just be a single. And it is off the final ball of the over. So halfway through this innings, 10 overs gone. Glamorgan, after losing the toss and being put into bat, are 69 for 2.
2 very distinct phases of what we've seen so far. Almost the entirety of the power play that Glamorgan dominated. But then the last 26
gets out, they're in a bit of trouble here because she's been in there a long time now, faced a lot of deliveries, and she sort of needs to anchor this innings, but at the same time can't just play it safe. You know, she needs to be the aggressor in this partnership.
Freeborn won't get a single this time. I mentioned how Maddie Ward's bowling was discovered. Yorkshire were playing indoor inter-squad games, and her team was struggling. That's it hard, down to long on for 1. And basically her team were really struggling to take wickets. They had a bowler in there, sort of mini six-a-side, that was injured. You say, I'll have a bowl. Suddenly starts bowling very good off spinners with the odd leggy chucked in. Both the coaches and all their teammates were like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Short, pulled away.
Well, it sounds...
That has beaten the sweeper. First boundary in a long, long time. First boundary by anyone who's not par-fit and Freeborn. Nailed in the gap by Gammon.
Yeah, sounds good off the bat, this one. And finally breaking the shackles on what had been a very tight couple of overs.
Yeah, he looked back at the last few overs. 4-1-3 with a wicket. 5-5-7. It's the first boundary since the middle of the 8th over. First boundary in 42 balls. In fact, I beg your pardon, my times table was letting me down there. First boundary in 36 balls, but you get the point. That is a long, long time without a boundary in a T20 contest. That's a full power play's worth of deliveries. Down the track, hit hard, over mid-off. Clever shot by Gammon. Makes room against Ward and finds the gap to perfection. That's really intelligent batting. So another boundary to finish the over. Brings that run rate back above a run a ball. 87 for 3 off 14.
Yeah, 10 in the end from that over off Maddie Ward. And we've said with the wickets, with one brings two. And that's what seems to have happened with the boundaries here. They decided just slowing down a little too much. And so goes the aggressive route. This time going aerial. No plugging at all there from Gammon.
Gammon will hope that that just kick-starts her innings and changes the dynamic of things. And Rainey with 1 for 14 off 2 will change ends once more. Something Yorkshire like to do throughout the T20 Blast campaign, have players really break up their spells and get used to bowling at almost all phases of the game. Give them variety and flexibility. Big bumper from Rainey that is wided on height. And one thing we certainly can see from being out at low at deep mid wickets, that was comfortably over the head of Freeborn. She would have needed a telescope to reach that one. But that was again a demonstration of a bit of what we've been saying about the pitch. It's that very slow tennis ball bounce.
Yeah.
That has not zipped through over the head of Freeborn. It's kind of almost gone, not quite in slow motion, but kind of stopped in the surface. Ooh. Sliced just wide of deep cover for one, short cover, out to one for one at deep point. Real sign of aggression from Freeborn there. She wanted to get that through more extra cover.
Yeah, she really had a swing at this one, just the top edge. Managed to not get enough on it to skew it down the throat of the fielder. So Gammon now back on strike. 12 from 9. 2 boundaries in the previous over.
And Gammon early on that just turns it round the corner, nudges it. She wanted to, but Ward was quick to come around from sort of deep mid-wicket to more of a shorter kind of square leg position to save that second. Beth and Gammon saying about Glamorgan step up to tier 1, step up with more games, more strength and conditioning, and a significantly higher standard of players will be tough. Oh, Rainey trying a slow ball that she gets completely wrong. That'll be wided. Gammon adding, I live and breathe cricket through my work with the EPP programme. I'm playing it, it would be incredible to call yourself a pro. Well, I'll put a lot of money that Beth Gammon certainly will be one of Glamorgan's pros in 2027. Free hit, no ball. What can Freeborn make of the added scoring opportunity, the diplomatic immunity that comes with it? She can make nothing of it. Tries to swing too hard and ends up, again, almost in an even more exaggerated way than she normally does, backing away to leg to make room for something. Makes no contact, so Freeborn is under pressure here.
Happens so often though, doesn't it? When you have a free hit, the batter then almost tries too hard, or the bowler suddenly pulls out their best delivery of the day.
Knowing that they've got to save themselves from the previous ball. Rainey getting another dot in. Cramping Freeborn for room. This will be a bit of a plan, I reckon. And I know I've spoken to a few analysts on the circuit who say that with Freeborn facing the quicker stuff, with her backing away to leg, you want to be trying to follow her if you can, not give her the room to free those arms. Cut away to Thomas out at deep point. Erin Thomas not to be confused with, and no relation to Olivia.
I wonder what's the most common surname in cricket.
Probably get what in the English circuit.
Well,
or
let's go with it. Well, globally, it's probably an Indian surname, isn't it?
So maybe something like Smith in England.
Yeah,
Thomas.
maybe.
Let us know in the comments. Tried to hit that one to the moon, Beth and Gammon. Instead, she jammed it into her pad. Was really trying to give that the full whack. Ends up scampering through. 93 for 3 then off 15. So from that patch of the last 5 overs, Yorkshire will be very happy with it. They've picked up another wicket and they have conceded just 24 runs at a tickle under 5s. Overall run rate just above a run a ball.
Yeah, so 93 on the board, 5 overs still to come. They've got wickets in hand and they've got a well-set Abby Freeborn. Gammon keeping her company nicely as well, now 14 from 11. So 2 batters who will be looking to now really try and capitalise on this and use these last 5 overs, because that sort of 130 mark is what you think they're going to be trying to aim at least.
Cooper change again. It's none for 15 off 2.
So she's in from the new road end. Sunglasses still on. Finds the gap here. Maddie Ward comes scampering round. Can't cut it off, and 4 off the first ball of the over.
Yeah, lovely batting from Gammon. Steps outside leg to create the angle. Meets it on the half volley and then gets that bottom hand through to provide the power. It's a really impressive technical player to watch, and that's a good example. A lot of players would have hit that more through extra cover. She's got those really good fast hands and nice wrists that mean it goes through point.
Yeah, and pressure on now. First ball of the over goes to the boundary, but also that ball is having to be dried vigorously. Really tricky to grip for the spinner, and this time slightly squarer.
Yeah, Rachel Priest said about Beth and Gammon that she single-handedly run us various games this season, but she's one of those players who's really hard on herself. She'll never score enough runs. The coach's brain in her means that she's always picking things apart.
Well dug out, and it's a really good response from Cooper after the first ball went for 4. Again, gives it that flight, and there's a big swing through from Freeborn. She'll pick up 1 more. Gammon keen to try and come back for a second, and Abby Freeborn wisely says, no, you stay there. 99 for 3 now. Great use of the feet from Gammon, and that will bring up the 100 for Glamorgan.
Yeah, it's come a lot slower than the first 100. The first 100 took 34 balls.
First 50.
First 50, I beg your pardon. First 50 took 34 balls. Second 50 has taken 60 balls. It's been really slow going in recent times.
Hit well, but there is a fielder out there at long on.
What that probably partially demonstrates is on a ground like this, where it's tough to hit boundaries, the power play becomes of even greater importance as a chance with just 2 up to try and put some early pressure on. Just 4 overs left, so 10 and over from here would cross 140. I think if Glamorgan were offered that right now, they'd say deal every day of the week.
You'd be very happy with 140 on this.
Glamorgan seeing off Northants in semi-final to get themselves here. A 61-run win, 209 all out played, 148 all out. Cole Reid coming up trumps with 5 for. Freeborn contributed 35, B. Ellis 34, Parfitt 32, but Bethan Ellis was the star with 70 with the bat.
Swings across the line again here, not quite timed. All along the carpet, captain comes in. Well, previous captain comes in, cuts it off.
Just reminds me of something Rachel Priest said to me. She really emphasised that it was the batters she was looking at for this final to step up and take responsibility. Feels like the bowling group, particularly the spin, has been outstanding for them.
Rocks back nicely in her crease. Going to have to be quick here. And a little slow from Callis on the throw. Almost like it's stuck in her hand a bit as she went to throw it. Aerial this time. Maddie Ward coming in off the boundary and puts it down. That would have been such a big moment in this game. Abby Freeborn trying to continue that momentum, and it was a pretty regulation catch. Should have been taken. And Abby Freeborn gets a life on 40.
Drops by Ward off Olivia Thomas, and we know how dangerous Abby Freeborn can be to accelerate. If she can do that here, that will turn into a massive moment. But it's not a massive moment because the next ball is gone. Well, it's a consolation for Olivia Thomas. It's not Freeborn. It is Gammon, though. And Gammon was going well. Out for 21 off 16. Steps a long, long way across. And much like we've seen in a lot of this final, misses the ball by being early on it on this slow pitch. 104 for 4. Second wicket for Olivia Thomas, who's having a day out.
Yeah, it's not the batter that she thought she was going to have the previous delivery, but you'll take a wicket either way. She now has her second of the day. She's been economical, and she's also picked up scalps, and that's just what you want from your leggy.
Yeah, Gammon is someone, much like Freeborn, he likes to use her crease in unconventional ways. Just goes doing so there. But that was a handy cameo for Glamorgan. They needed someone that wasn't Freeborn to maybe come in and inject a bit of energy in the innings, and she did that. 21 off 16 with 3 boundaries for Beth and Gammon. Just 2 balls left of Olivia Thomas's spell on a very cold September morning. Don't underestimate. If there's anyone who that's the biggest of nightmares for, it's a leg spinner. And you.
It's me.
Reminds me of the wind in Jersey once.
No, let's not. I don't think I've ever been colder in my life. And had more of a wind burn on my face.
So, not to be confused with Bethan Ellis, it is B. Ellis.
Yeah. It's keeping you all on your toes.
Well, they have batted together a few times this season.
Let's not. And this is again pretty full from Thomas. And Ellis is off the mark straight away, all along the carpet.
They batted together in the semi-final. They've very kindly done yours truly and Georgie Heath a favour by keeping their innings apart today. Because the other thing is if you've got, and we have got scorecards here with both middle names on, but when it's just B. Ellis and B. Ellis, good luck.
Boulder! Liv Thomas has her second in the over, her third wicket of the day. Just straightened, and Abby Freeborn, the set batter, now goes just as we head into the dying overs of the innings.
Well, Freeborn not capitalising on the life she was given just a few balls ago when dropped by Wood. She chops on. It's an inside edge, but the ball would have hit anyway. The only difference the bottom edge means is that the ball ends up hitting leg stump rather than off. And as has been a theme of the day, it's been batters getting out, playing aggressive shots, where they've ended up losing their timing and being too early on the ball on what is a slow, low wicket. But it's a good effort from Abby Freeborn. 41 of 50. She's had a very solid competition, including 100 on debut for Glamorgan against Leicestershire. The lone player, the experienced spark once upon a time, can be very proud of what she's done for this Glamorgan side. Is now 2 new batters have got to rebuild with time running out.
Yeah, and that 120, 130 is looking a lot more difficult now. 3 overs still to come.
Well, it's also tough because you're looking at someone like Porter, who's not batted a lot this season because Glamorgan's top order's been going so well.
Well, she's at the non-strikers because the over was finished from Liv Thomas.
Porter with 91 runs in this competition at an average of 18. She's been one of the best bowlers in it. She offers some handy ballast to the batting, but it's difficult when most of the time you haven't been needed too much and suddenly you come out in a pressure situation of a final.
Can't get it past the fielder. There's Callis there at short third. Talking of confusion between batters, I remember talking to Jane Powell at an event up at Dr. Jane Powell, the one, the only. Hello to her if she's listening. Up at an event at Yorkshire last year, and she's saying her and her twin were batting together in India once. And this is before all the technology could gauge who was who. And basically, they then just got given a combined score. It's a big appeal again. Lauren Winfield Hill loves an appeal. Looks like sort of sliding down leg side. And so the pair of them were giving this sort of cumulative score of, sorry, we didn't actually know which of you scored these runs. And I think they made about 90 between them.
Yeah, for the next game,
so
they made
someone had a half century probably in there somewhere.
For the next game, they made them go out with a whole load of black tape
on
the
that's
back of their shirt.
understandable.
They made one have a whole load of black tape on their back and the other not,
just outdone me on my story. Whatever. Yeah, it's well bowled this from Woolston, nice and full.
One of the great characters of women's cricket, Dr. Jane Powell, and they do look absolutely the same.
They do, yes.
There was a point commentating with her earlier this season for Yorkshire where her sister was up in the box watching as well, and I did turn round to her sister and sort of say, "Oh, you're on in 1 over." And then there was a moment where her sister looked at me and say, "No, I'm not." And it was like, "Oh, hang on a minute."
Parent trap moment. You've got to check if she's got pierced ears or not. Big swing at this one. You can see the intent from Ellis. It's just lack of execution.
Yeah, just trying to hit the ball too hard. It's always easy to say from the commentary box. We never play a bad shot up here, although at times we misspeak, of course. B. Ellis, who has got that in her. 77 not out of 41 in a home win against Gloucestershire in the Blast. She made a handy 34 in the semi-final as well.
Nicely clipped away off the pads, and that's going to be a very handy 4.
She just waited for this a little better, Ellis. It was a poor delivery, but timed really nicely. 1-1-1 for 5 then, with 2 overs left. Couple of big overs here if you're Glamorgan, you're eyeing getting past that 130 total. Setting up some nervy batting for Yorkshire on a used tricky deck with the rain potentially rolling in at any moment. Could well be one of those slightly chaotic finishes where we're up here with a DLS sheet. as things are going on, working out what's happening. It is due to bucket down with rain in ballpark an hour.
Porter takes guard. So 18 overs gone, 111. Nelson on the board. Cooper coming in for her 4th over. Sunglasses still on. And a full toss just driven up to long off.
Yeah, she settled into life quickly. Yorkshire talked about it being a big change for her. In her own words, she'd never been north of London before. She signed from Surrey, left all of my friends and family behind, and that was quite hard to start with, having gone to uni there.
Again, just tip and run, just dropping it into that space on the leg side and doing really well. Coming back for the second, take on the arm of Maddie Ward. A poor throw in the end. She sort of caught napping slightly. I don't think she was quite expecting them to come back for a second.
Yeah, that is superb scamperage by this pair to get back for 2.
Quicker this time goes Ariel. Maddie Ward out on the boundary. She's got a lot to do today. Put down the catch earlier, Abby Freeborn. Luckily didn't have to pay the price for it, with Freeborn being bowled just a few balls later. But the previous one coming to her, chance of the run out this time, just falling short. Going Ariel. And just sweeps around the corner again, trying to set off for that quick single. This time deciding against it.
I think whilst you're, of course, watching these two, it's worth giving a moment to give flowers to Northampton Middlesex, the 2 beaten semi-finalists.
Ariel again this time, long off, just waits for it.
Both of them had great campaigns. Northants ultimately losing to Glamorgan in the semi-final, but they won 7 of their 9 group games, finished 3rd just behind Glamorgan on net run rate.
Big appeal again. It's Lauren Winfield Hill, and then everyone else joins in.
End of the over. And as for Middlesex, well, you've got to feel for Middlesex. They won the T20 Vitality Blast League 2 competition, 9 wins from 10, beating Yorkshire and Glamorgan on finals day without losing a wicket. And in this format, 8 wins from 9, but they lost that semi-final at home against Yorkshire. Middlesex Director of Cricket Alan Coleman exclusively told Cricket Her that they intend to self-fund professional contracts by 2029, as year 1 of a 4-year plan is this season to be professional by the end of that. In his words, we almost want to, without sounding arrogant, take it out of the ECB's hands and say, you have to make us professional because of the performances that our players have put in Tier 2. So that's the plan, and part of it will be ensuring that our players are rewarded for the cricket that they play. So that's one worth keeping an eye on in the future. Middlesex with 17 wins from 19 across Tier 2 this season. They lost out to Yorkshire in that semi-final at Radlett.
Anyway, back to the game in hand. Final over of this innings. 117 on the board. It's going to be Rainey to bowler. Ariel this time down the throat of the fielder, and again put down the second drop for Yorkshire in this innings. A slightly more difficult one this time, but you would expect that to be taken.
Yeah, Olivia Thomas will be disappointed, normally so reliable at cover. Just on that note though, great to see that the restructure is seeing more and more counties aspire to have a full-time professional women's team.
Along the carpet this time. One more to the total. Well, we did that T20 Blast finals day, didn't we? And Middlesex didn't lose a wicket all day. It was astonishing. In the semi-final or the final, saw themselves to victory, the first ever champions in the League 2. Vitality Blast. Ariel this time. Who's under it? Communication. And in the end, complete lack of communication.
Well,
and it lands safe.
Well, it's Maddie Ward at cover and Olivia Thomas at extra cover, and it seems like quite simply nobody quite called it. So the ball actually ends up dropping on the floor without anyone actually in position to catch it.
Well, it doesn't count as a drop, I guess, that way.
Yeah, the technicality, I guess.
Ariel again this time, just over the head of mid-on, and that's going to be 4. Talk about rubbing salt in the wounds. Rainey should have had her second wicket of the day, the previous delivery, because of that complete lack of communication between her fielders.
Yeah, Yorkshire not quite finishing as they'd want, and it's helping Glamorgan just push up towards that 130 mark we've been mentioning. You have to feel for Rainey, who probably should have had 2 wickets in the over.
She should. This one along the carpet, and they'll scamper through quickly. We want to 125 for 5. 1 delivery still to come. Have a big swing at this one.
Yeah, it has been something of a slowdown from Glamorgan when you think that the 50 came up with 2 balls left of the power play after 5.4. Ellis and Porter at least have taken 8 from this final over.
Ariel this time, who's under it? And it's put down again. Another drop from Yorkshire. Well, this has been sloppy in the field from the team in blue. They won't be happy with this. They've given away runs and they should have taken more wickets. But it does finish the 20 overs. So, Glamorgan, after being put into bat, obviously this is a shorter match today than we would have expected, playing a 20 over a side game. They managed 127 for 5 from their 20 overs. It was a blistering start from the openers, slowed down at times in the middle, but Liv Thomas there picking up 3 wickets today. She was the pick of the bowlers, the young leg spinner. But Yorkshire, there's a few things to write home about, especially the sloppy fielding. I think could have cost them a few runs.
Yeah, you sum it up perfectly, Georgie. A quick 550 added by the openers. They were 50 for none off 5.4, but then they scored just 27 off the next 8.5 overs at 3s and managed to recover at the end. They added 50 off the last 6, and that was what got Glamorgan up to 127 for 5. Olivia Thomas with 3 for 14. No doubt the pick of the bowlers.
So we're going to go to a short break now, and we'll be back with you, the chase, in around 10 minutes' time.
Pour with rain in 2 hours. That's really beautifully connected with down the... Comes down the track.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket.
Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that. A game. A way to pass the time. Made up of overs and innings, wickets and runs that can last 5 days. Or a mere afternoon. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's more than the stumps and the wickets, the bat and the ball. More than winning and losing. What makes cricket cricket is us, the people. The people that play, volunteer, organise, spectate and facilitate. From the leaders on the field to those behind the scenes. Cricket is what we make it, through the values we share. It's a game run on respect, built on fairness and decency, where we embrace enjoyment, build belonging and progress with purpose, so that to anyone watching, they see a game for me. These are the values that make this game great, and they've always been there. But it's up to us now to carry them forward, with every ball, every stroke, every session of play, so that together we can help shape this beautiful game. This game that we love. This game we call cricket.
All the fun and all the games, they all start here with All Stars Cricket. Skills, friendships, smiles, dreams, it all happens here. Every session is all-out action. All invited, even mum and dad. That, ball, catch, go.
All Stars and All Stars.
We're here today to launch the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd and to have some a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you've brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that, and it just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year is just the most amazing summer and it's a brilliant event.
We need your support, we love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
We look cool and feel amazing.
Our games are full of action.
Is the way we play. Give it 100. Sign up now.
Calling England cricketers.
My name is Hassan.
My name is Ravi.
My name is Taylor.
And this is my way to play.
You might be used to big crowds, big stadiums, big pitches.
My way to play is different.
I don't play on the pitch, I play on the street.
Playing beach cricket.
Hi, Robbie. Let's see who comes out on top, eh?
Yeah, hopefully me.
Showing all your friends how it's done.
Hassan, can I play?
Yeah, sure, you want a bat?
Yes, please.
Ready, Rav?
Ready?
Rules? Let's just say make them up as we go.
You see the ball swing, I hear it jingle.
Over the wall, you're out.
Get my ball back.
No boundaries, just a shoreline.
Rachel, where am I
So, do you fancy changing those whites for chackies?
Okay.
Fancy swapping your spikes for bare feet?
Fancy putting your senses to the test? Come and play my way.
What? That was awesome.
Well played. You're too good today.
Great hitting.
What a great shot.
Yes, Robbie! Welcome back to 0 Worcester. 127 on the board in this final by Glamorgan. And the rain is just starting to sprinkle down. That rain that is the reason why this has been reduced to a 20 over a side bash, and even then the forecast suggested it was going to be touch tight to try and get a game in. So we've got a dramatic passage of cricket coming up, where just a few overs could well decide the destination of the trophy this season. Erin Thomas restored to Yorkshire opener because of the shortened format, presumably, as Porter gets the reply underway, blocked back by Lauren Winfield-Hill. Now remember that we need a minimum of 5 overs of side here to constitute the game. If we get fewer than 5 overs of play, then quite simply the trophy will be shared. Porter in again to Winfield-Hill, who's sweeping round the corner. That's a poor ball. It's an off spinner from right arm around. Winfield-Hill just helping it on its way. Although actually seeing the replay, I'm going to change my assessment. It's not the worst delivery from Porter, it's just clever batting from Winfield-Hill. It's on an off stump line, but Winfield-Hill just times it perfectly, knows where her gap is, with long on and deep mid wicket out. A hard sweep that she rolls her wrists on will likely bring 4. Into the pads. Need a lot of things to be going your way from this angle of Porter. Possibly pitching outside leg and then possibly turning down leg as well.
Not the worst shout, and I can understand why they'd be enthusiastic, because to get rid of someone like Lauren Winfield early on would be...
She's present for them throughout the second the first run
That's going to be, well, it won't be more runs. Sounded good off the bat, though. End of the first over. 10 off it. It's a really nice start for Yorkshire against Porter, who has been outstanding. Described as a smart cricketer who's been the leader of our bowling attack. In the words of our head coach, Rachel Priest. 17 wickets at 16. But she's been a touch on the expensive side there. Eve Jackson to open the bowling from the New Road end. Turned 18 this summer, and she has stepped up in recent times to become a regular on the team sheet. 1 for 17 off 5, opening the bowling in the semi-final, and got the very dangerous Amelia Kemp. She's had a breakthrough season, no doubt. She'll be providing the seam option and should get movement with the new ball. This will be fascinating to watch because Erin Thomas is naturally going to be aggressive. She was in the semi-final against Middlesex. She hit 38 or 33. Had a lot of joy, particularly against Katie Wolfe. She does like to come down the track often to seam Thomas, to manipulate length. And so to that end, Georgia Parfitt is immediately stood up to the stumps. And Gammon, as well as Lauren Parfitt, are having a tactics chat with Jackson.
Taking a long time for this over to start.
Yeah, it is. They've eventually gone with a long on and a deep mid-wicket as the 2 out. Well, understandably, Erin Thomas has pulled away because as Jackson's running in, the fielder at long on is still running back to be at long on. So Thomas quite within her rights to say, hang about. 4 more overs needed to get a result on the day. Jackson's first ball to Thomas is a wide. Of course, plenty of players for both of these sides have played in this competition to help them get here, but are not involved today. Yorkshire using 20 players across the competition, Glamorgan using 26. Hit hard by Thomas through the onside. What will be 1 for Yorkshire, the likes of Rachel Slater, the Scotland international, is out injured today. Rebecca Duckworth, who played in every group stage game. Alicia Pollard, who played in the opener against Worcestershire. Amelia Love, 16-year-old, who took a 4th in that game. Grace Hall, the baby Malinga as they call her, played 3 games before her shoulder injury. Laura Marshall, the experienced all-rounder who played in the win against Leicestershire. The 17-year-old Ellie Nightingale, who made 17, not out on debut in that win against Leicestershire. Scotland all-rounder Megan McCall played in the home game against Glamorgan. 17-year-old batter Amelia Oliver made 61 in the win at Gloucestershire. 16-year-old all-rounder Ines Blackwell was good on debut against Middlesex and made 4 appearances as Winfield Hill guides it away. Always important to acknowledge so many players who've contributed to a side getting into the final without getting the chance to play in that showpiece. Reminder again, 20 over a side contest, rain expected, 5 overs needed here for a game. Again, guided out into extra cover, and worth remembering how DLS will shift significantly based on a couple of early wickets here. But if Yorkshire can build an opening partnership with DLS, is quite kind to you, particularly when chasing a low score.
One day I'll understand the DLS equation, but for now, we'll just watch it.
Whipped away through square leg. I don't think anyone fully understands DLS, as Winfield Hill certainly is putting a good chunk for Yorkshire in that DLS bank early doors. 16 without loss after 10.
Well, it's one of those things, you know, at school you learn all these equations that I'm never ever going to use in my life, or need to comprehend really. I don't want to work out the angle of a plane. I'm fine not knowing how to do that, despite how many times they tried to teach us. But if someone had just sort of explained it or given us a rundown of how the equation works, I could use that.
Helpfully for us.
Niche at my school. I'm not sure there are many other people in my class who would have needed it, but you know.
Helpfully for us, we've got a massive scoreboard right in front of us with DLS plastered on it.
The equation on it, you know. None of the plus C and all that.
Winfield Hill down the ground.
Yeah, it's one of the first things when you teach people about the weird sport of cricket, just what everything on a scoreboard means. DLS is one of those that people often ask about. DLS right now sits at 9. So Yorkshire are already +8. But a wicket or two would change that very quickly. And it is just very, very lightly raining. Thomas gets those hard hands through the ball, but she might have picked out long on. Would have been a very good take out there for Gemma Porter. It dipped on her as well late on. And Thomas slightly gets away with it. 18 without loss after 2.
How many jumpers is Gemma Porter wearing? Yeah, it just dipped on her at the last moment there. It's a sort of blind spot for us, that one tiny patch of the field. Just the dugouts between us and there. So great start this for Yorkshire. Guided by the captain, Lauren Winfield-Hill. She's the kind of person you want out there. Cool, calm, collected, experienced customer. 15 from 10. She'll know how to manoeuvre the
gone too short. He loves to flat back the ball inside. Does so there for 1. Consistent. Top Winfield. Hill realised it wasn't there for the sort of placing it there. Almost brought a match back point. Winfield who's took very, very free. He's got the half it in the power play. Best angles just not 800. The ground. Porter's really unlucky. Over concedes 6, 24 without loss after 3.
Yeah, that looked quite painful. She's standing up gingerly and just hobbling over to Lauren Winfield-Hill. And I think actually it is more pain than pride. It's the most when you fall over and you bum. It's actually just the pride that's hurt. But she seems okay. She's young. She'll bounce. Wait till you hit 30, then it all hurts.
She's got Winfield-Hill there to talk her all through it. Winfield-Hill, who, as things stand, has 378 runs at an average of 77 and a strike rate of 125 per 100 balls in this competition this season. The highlight, of course, that knock against Kent. Winfield-Hill's Canterbury tail making for good reading. Yorkshire's highest ever score. Change of headphones. And meanwhile on field, Katie Cobb, another member of this super impressive Glamorgan spin attack. Statistically the best spin lineup, arguably in Tier 2 this season. Starts with a full bunger that Winfield Hill drives down the ground.
Yeah, not going to spin if it doesn't hit the ground.
She's a twirler from Wiltshire. She's known for a good arm ball, that natural line drifting into a right-hander, that classic left-arm orthodox angle. That's full again, and Thomas didn't know where that had gone for a second. She definitely wasn't trying to get it through. Fine leg. Comes off the bottom of the bat for 2.
Yeah, and actually, if she'd had any idea where that was going, they could well have come back for another.
Oh, they only picked up one.
Yeah, because they only picked up one, exactly.
Glad we've got Georgia Heath next to me to keep me sane. I thought they would have scampered.
It's worrying if I'm the one keeping you sane.
Full again. Out to extra cover, no run. Winfield Hill continuing on her merry way. That knock against Kent, Yorkshire's highest ever men's or women's list A score, beating Sally Ann Beams is 177 on the women's side and Darren Lehman's 191 on the men's side of things. Winfield Hill will get more here. Get a single to Abby Freeborn. So Yorkshire ticking along. They're currently +8 on the DLS. We have 8 more balls needed to ensure that the final is decided on the day with what we get on the field rather than being a shared trophy due to the weather. And we're quietly optimistic we'll get those 8 balls in. Oh, Thomas again looking unconvincing. This time going back off Cobb. Only just keeps that out. That's crashing into maybe the top of middle on this slow, low wicket. I'll say it's been a great common sense all-round effort to make sure we've ended up with a final that will, it looks like, bar something quite extraordinary in the next 5 minutes, be decided by cricket on field.
It's one of those that there will still be discussions of, firstly, why isn't there a
reserve day?
A reserve day. That will be somewhere near the top of the list, as that brings the 4th over to a close, 27 for none, 7 runs still ahead of the DLS. There will be discussions of that, and there will also be those saying, oh, you can't decide a 50-over competition with a pre-decided T20. That's not how it works. But if that's what's been agreed, and both teams are happy with that,
yeah, absolutely.
Then
I think once both teams choose to agree to that, that argument slightly goes out the window, because if you go on to lose the game from here, you can definitely say that it's an unusual final and it's an unusual format, but you have chosen to agree to it. You know, if you don't make that choice, realistically, we're all coming to the ground today for maybe 40 overs of cricket and then a lot of rain.
one team batting.
Yeah,
because Glamorgan would still be batting.
Absolutely, yeah. Be in the middle overs of their innings now. We have got DLS table of ball-by-ball scores to hand, as and when that rain might come.
It is the most archaic-looking sheet, don't you think? It looks like you've gone to sort of wartime maths class.
The new over starts with a flick off Jackson into the onside for 1.
And it's the kind of thing you expect to be written on a chalkboard.
Times tables.
Yeah, genuinely,
kind of
and you're going to get hit with a ruler if you do it wrong.
You have to like sing the 7 times table, in a particular rhythm.
I always like the 7 times tables, actually.
One of your favourites?
One of my faves, 7 sevens, 49. I just liked it.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Jackson here, a little too short, hammered away through the onside. It's her signature shot, Erin Thomas. It's her best shot, the pull shot. She's always on it early. Bangs that away for what is her first boundary. She's largely been playing support to the Lauren Winfield Hill show, but that's meat and drink to a player of her quality, who's coming into form as the season ends. She's recently got her only 50 of the campaign across senior competitive games, 54 off 48 in the win at Kent. Got 38 off 33 in the semi-final, but might be gone here. Umpire Chandaria says no. Well bowled by Jackson. The 18-year-old hunting a breakthrough. Has 10 wickets at 17 this season at an economy rate of just over 4, Eve Jackson, in this competition. And that looked like a decent shout. Down the ground by Thomas for 1. Worth mentioning all the players for Glamorgan that have helped them get here, but aren't playing in this final. Ellie Anderson and Niamh Holland, borrowed from Somerset, who've played 3 and 2 games respectively. Priyanaz Chatterjee, borrowed from Surrey, took 2 wickets against Worcestershire in her only game last month. Emma Marlowe, on loan from Durham, and Lizzie Scott on loan from Durham, both played just 1 game against Yorkshire. So that's hammered down the ground. Beautifully timed, and even a very straight long on's got no chance. That is one of the shots of the day from Winfield Hill in the slot, and she's absolutely crunched it.
Yep, she really means business, doesn't she, Lauren Winfield Hill? And that now puts them 12 runs ahead on that DLS.
A couple of wickets could change things quickly, but Yorkshire right now, if this storm does come, certainly would be the ones to not mind it. Got not quite a buffer, but they're building nicely.
Yeah, Lauren Winfield Hill, just the kind of person you want to marshal this up the top of the order.
Tough for it. Eve Jackson, an 18-year-old bowling at a World Cup winner. Swept away by Winfield Hill through deep backward square for 4. So she's taking control of this power play. It's a shot she likes to play against seam bowlers.
Hey, Michael, we have a game.
We
5
certainly
overs.
do, yep. We absolutely have a game, regardless of what the rain does. Thanks to all-round common sense, regardless of what happens here, the trophy will be won on the field. 41 without loss after 5. 15 ahead now as well on DLS.
Yeah, so we will have an outright winner of the Tier 2 Metro Bank 50 over competition, and it's just a sort of testament, that, isn't it, to the extra coverage given for the women's game and both tiers, which was what I really like. Just rocks off the back foot this time, does Thomas. Can't get this one through. And I think, you know, we have a lot of this talk about the Tier 1, League 1, you know, that gets everything. Yes, there's a few things, a few teething problems that perhaps need to be looked at, but also what I've loved this season is how much coverage there is of not just League 1, Tier 2. So we can talk about the 2 tiers deep podcast, obviously looks at everything as that finds the outside edge and could well race for 4, slowing up in this damp outfield. Yeah, the 2 tiers deep podcast is one I really would like to draw your eye to. If you've been interested by what's going on today here, go and have a listen to that and find out a little bit more ahead of next season. When you've picked up your favourites, you might even have already been backing the winner.
Yeah, they've got a nice combination on that podcast.
Ariel this time. For a moment, Fielder might have thought they were in with a chance, but actually this is just continued heavy striking from the captain.
Yeah, Winfield Hill has 35 off 20. It is increasingly looking like, and Parfitt demonstrated it, the best time to bat is in the power play. Just jumping back to that podcast, you've got Chloe Hill from that player's perspective and Rosa Simkin from that journalist perspective. Chloe Hill, of course, captained Worcestershire to a win against Yorkshire at Headingley in April, which feels like a long time ago now.
Again, rocks off the back foot, can't get it through this time. I think last time I was here, there was a picture of Chloe Hill on the wall. You know, they have all the players around and about celebrating. There was definitely a Chloe Hill picture on the wall. And I think then I saw actual Chloe Hill as well.
Yeah, she's then been on loan at Northants more recently.
Thinks about coming forward at this one. They're running the first one hard. No point coming back for the second because it's gone for 4.
Well, the 50 comes up for Yorkshire. 1 ball slower than Glamorgan managed, thanks to Abby Freeborn and Lauren Parfitt. But worth remembering that, of course, Glamorgan dramatically slowed down since then. And Yorkshire are now 20 up on DLS.
Oof.
That is a big amount now. That's the kind of amount where even with 2 wickets and 2 balls, they'd still be ahead.
Yeah. Lauren Winfield Hill goes aerial again for a moment. Mid-off, stuck out a right hand, thought she could be in with a chance. And in the end, it's a good bit of fielding to cut off the boundary. 2 more to the total. 2 more to Lauren Winfield Hill. She moves into the 40s.
Just want to jump back to making sure every member of that Glamorgan squad that's played this season gets a deserved shout-out. Erin Vukasic on loan from Somerset played 3. Poppy Tulloch, the Hampshire pacer, was on loan for 3, and 6 Glamorgan players as well who more than featured in the campaign but aren't in this 11. Sarah Phillips played 5 games. Poppy Walker, 17. Winfrey played 3. Tyler Thompson played a couple played 1. He's gone.
Very high. Fielder coming in off the deep mid-wicket boundary, puts the catch down. And it's just 1 run.
Well, when you're defending a low total in a final and the opposition of 52 without loss, you just have to take a catch like that. Did swirl in the wind a little, but for a boundary catch at this level, it was relatively regulation.
So, given a life. And now it's Winfield Hill back on strike. They just took the single well ahead of DLS. Again, full toss, this time just swept away. Slight misfield. It's going to be 4 more to Lauren Winfield Hill. She moves on to 45. And Yorkshire at the moment cantering along.
Well, regardless of the rain, Glamorgan have got to make a move now. And they've got to try something fast. It's been a lot of that sweep shot from Lauren Winfield Hill. She's had the broom out almost all day.
Just call her Cinderella because she just keeps sweeping. Again, Fuller. It's just that awkward length, isn't it, from Reed? And really giving it the flight.
Yeah, she's had a great tournament. 5 for 27, her first ever list day 5 for in the semi-final.
Goes reverse this time. Again, not quite timed, and they'll settle for just 1.
Started today, Nicole Reed is the 4th highest wicket taker in the competition, 15 wickets at 14. She's known for the fact that she gets an unusual amount of control and accuracy for a leg spinner.
Charges at this one. All along the carpet, beautiful looking stroke. Thomas finally properly times one and joins the boundary hitting party.
Yeah, second boundary for Erin Thomas. Very loopy and flighted from Reed. She's trying to tempt Thomas into something like that. She is known for liking to get the ball up above the eye line. I wonder, does Reed fire this next one in quicker and flatter? Plays a club cricket with Panteg.
This time not quite where she was aiming. It's gone fine enough off that outside edge for them to come through for 1. She'll retain the strike for the beginning of the next over. 7 overs gone. Yorkshire 63 without loss.
It's just starting to spot with rain. Yorkshire 26 ahead on DLS, so that's not a problem for them. And Glamorgan are getting increasingly desperate to find some wickets. Try and change the tide of this contest. Glamorgan have come so far in terms of having to build their structures over the winter. Some great work behind the scenes from the likes of Amy Rees, Head of Cricket Development, talking about integrating themselves into the fabric of the club. Bethan Ellis on 1 for 16 off 4 in the semi-final against Northants. On loan from Warwickshire. Described as the quiet achiever of a team full of quiet assassins by her head coach Rachel Priest.
Aerial this time from Thomas. That has gone a long way, all the way. 6 more. Now Thomas is really finding the form that we were just missing earlier on in her innings, but now She's striking it as well as Winfield Hill at the other end.
First 6 of the final. And that's Erin Thomas's area. Full into the pads. Gets that bottom hand through it. Such a powerful striker. Yorkshire more than halfway there. Absolutely racing.
Goes again. Not quite got as much of it, I don't think, but it doesn't matter. It's only a metre shorter. It's back-to-back sixes.
Well, it's the dictionary definition of muscled from Thomas. It's a poor ball from Ellis, though, you've got to say. Short and there to be hit. And Glamorgan are in danger of this running away from them very fast now.
So 75 on the board. And cantering here. And that is well cut off in the end. It looked like it was going to be another boundary off the over. Sliding stop using the greasy outfield.
Yeah, she had a difficult season at times, Erin Thomas. Had a big run of getting a lot of starts and finding a way to get out, but right at the back end of the campaign, she's hit form.
Full toss, turned around the corner. It's going to be 4 more. A very expensive over this is turning into. Now 15 already from it. And that brings up the 50 for the captain, Lauren Winfield Hill.
Yeah, it's been an astonishing knock in a final. 50 off 27 balls. With 10 fours as well. Boundary dominant. And they are actually double DLS now. That tells you how far that is out of the equation. DLS says 40, Yorkshire are 80 without loss. So that's down the ground for 1 more. Now, I know something I've seen plenty of chatter about through the season about players like a quality of a Winfield Hill being in tier 2 and, you know, scoring a lot of runs as you'd expect. But and sometimes that conversation has been, you know, what are they doing there? To summarise some of the, you know, the dialogue around that. But ultimately, a player like Lauren Winfield Hill being in tier 2 makes the fabric of the game stronger because other teams have to up their game. Low full toss. This is help round the corner, and it's going to be 4 more. It's raining boundaries here at Worcester. 20 off the over, and even regardless of the rain, Yorkshire might finish this on field. 85 without loss after 8. Comfortably most expensive over of the entire game so far. Just jumping back to that point, I was chatting to someone from Kent after that Winfield Hill innings of 192, and they said, look, obviously to lose a game heavily like that is not fun, but our bowling attack learnt so much from that really tough experience of watching and bowling against a player of that quality, and our batters even in the field learnt from watching the way Lauren Winfield Hill manipulated length, manipulated scoring areas, and ultimately put Kent to the sword. Yorkshire, of course, with a fully professional setup. Every Yorkshire player in this 11 today is either a full-time professional or, in the case of Olivia Thomas, will soon be on a rookie contract. Ward is on a rookie professional contract, and Maddie Ward will step up from a rookie professional contract to a fully professional contract in a couple of months.
Well swept. Finds the gap between the 2 fielders and could well pick up 4 more here. Yes, she does. Perfect placement from Lauren Winfield Hill.
Yeah, it's been the defining shot of the day against this Glamorgan spin attack, and even the seamers. And Glamorgan still haven't really adjusted to the fact that Winfield Hill, even if the ball is well outside off stump, is a confident sweeper in terms of getting the ball anywhere from fine leg round to just in front of square. She's got 11 boundaries. I make it maybe 6, even 7 of them have been on that sweep shot.
Yeah, I can tell you, Michael, the rain is definitely getting heavier now. Well ahead of the DLS, more than double what they would need to be on there. 39 runs needed to win otherwise. And Lauren Winfield Hill is making this chase look easy. She picks up 4 more. Easy as you like. Great work. Gives herself room. Up, over. And a couple of bounces.
Yeah, good players look like they've got time. Lauren Winfield Hill looks every inch like a player who has more than 100 England caps in her back pocket.
She also looks like someone who wants to get this done and have a Sunday roast. 35 now needed to win. Charges at this one again. This time slightly less elevation. And so it will just be 1.
Yeah, I think one thing you would say, it's obviously not an ideal overall situation for a 50 over final. But that's out to deep mid wicket for 1. At the very least, if the rain comes down now, I don't think anyone would doubt that on the day Yorkshire have been comfortably the better team. You know, at least it's not one of those where the rain buckets down and you win on DLS by a run. Playing a miss outside the off stump. You know, you come off after, say, 5.3 overs and it's we won on DLS by 2 runs. You think, God, that really is far from ideal.
Yeah.
The condition better, had the benefit of winning the toss and choosing to bowl first and making good use of that. And free for 14 after Parfitt and Freeborn's fast start. And in truth, ever since Parfitt and Freeborn were separated, Yorkshire have pretty much exclusively had the momentum in it. That required run rate below 3s. That tells you all you need to know. Rain's steady now. The umpires are doing their best to finish it out there.
Yeah, kudos to umpires. Well, I always forget that they have to stand in it too.
Absolutely.
Again swept by Winfield Hill. It'll just be a single out to deep square.
Evergreen Winfield Hill. She's cited the likes of Faf du Plessis, Wayne Madsen. They're in their 40s and still great athletes. I've always said I'm going to play until my body's buggered or it's not fun anymore. Whichever comes first. If it's fun, then you're obviously performing. If you're not performing, it's not fun. Describe cricket as golf with running.
She's hit this hard. Really hard. And she's going to add another 4.
That's the 100. Off 56 balls. Thomas bringing it up with that one. It's a quite extraordinary partnership from this pair, who seem determined that regardless of the rain, they're going to win it on field.
They crossed the 100 mark too.
We feel for Porter having to do her best to dry the ball. Not easy conditions to bowl. This is going to be more runs. It will be 4. It's getting away from Glamorgan very fast now. The finishing post coming into view for Yorkshire. And Thomas is not far off what would be just her second 50 this season. She got a 50 at Kent in the game that secured semi-final qualification. They haven't always been the most convincing team in this format, Yorkshire. 5 wins and 4 losses in the group stage. But they've produced their best cricket when they've needed it most. So that'll be a dot. Now we're into the question of, can Yorkshire finish it on field, or is the rain going to finish the action?
Oh, surely we can hold out just long enough.
Let's hope so. Slapped through the onside again. Vintage Thomas, that's her favourite area. And it's a bit of a hockey shot. It's one of her go-tos. 4 more.
Well, if she strikes it like that, we could beat the rain.
Well, the rate at which Yorkshire are going. This is Yorkshire's fastest 100 partnership in the 50 over comp this season. It probably doesn't surprise you. Thomas has injured herself a bit there. She's just wringing her wrist, I think. See if it's causing her a bit of bother. She'll be desperate to stay out there though and finish it. It's down the track, and this is going to be runs through cover. Lauren Parfitt gives chase, and it will be 2. 1-1-2 for none. Well, we saw Middlesex win T20 finals day without losing a wicket. Yorkshire are looking well placed to do it here. Just 16 more to win. That's hammered down to long on for 1. Yorkshire, of course, won against Middlesex at Radlett in the semi by 6 wickets with just over 11 overs to spare. Sid Egan from Cricket Her describing Stair Callis's knock as a New York cheesecake, cooked slow and low, one of the more unlikely metaphors I've seen in a cricket match report, but essentially alluding to the fact that Callis had to start nice and slow, and in her own words, couldn't get the strike rate I wanted to, but you need to put your ego on the side at that moment. Strike rate's not really key. Callis accumulating and then finishing it off with Amy Campbell, but Yorkshire certainly are not accumulating at the moment. They are destroying, as those graphs reflect. 15 to win. It is almost Yorkshire versus the rain at this point, and having fancied, based on the forecast, the rain to potentially end this final early for most of things for the first time today, I'd say getting a result on the field seems like the favourite. Too short, hit hard through extra cover for 4, and 50 up for Erin Thomas. Matches her captain Lauren Winfield-Hill, both with 27 ball 50s. Thomas with 7 4s and a couple of 6s. Just her second 50 of the campaign. Both of them coming at the back end of the season, the other in the win at Kent. Yorkshire are flying to victory here. You have to feel for Glamorgan, who've had a great season, but a difficult day. Dragged down, smashed over the head of short mid-wicket, and deep cow corner coming around, can't stop that. It's ending in a rain of boundaries here for Yorkshire.
Yeah, absolutely cantering, and now that deficit is into single figures. They need just 7 runs to take the title and be the inaugural winners of the Tier 2 Women's Metro Bank Cup. They were runners-up in the T20 Blast. Can they go one better here?
A rare dot ball as Thomas guides that one back. Before that delivery was striking at 2 a ball. Worth saying though, plenty to look back on with pride for Glamorgan from this season. It's been a big shift behind the scenes with the restructure, getting an EPP system going, building relationships with Wiltshire and Gloucestershire, getting their academy running. There's been plenty of great memories to remember for Glamorgan supporters, reaching finals day in the T20s with big victory against Gloucestershire with more than 1,000 at Cardiff in the sunshine. So that's smacked away. It could be out. It's not. It's over the head of deep mid-wicket. Scores are tied. Yet another 6 from Thomas, who in the last 10 minutes has carried the bulk of the work. after Winfield Hill had done the early destruction. 1 to win. That great anticlimax that you get sometimes in the game of cricket. 1 to win. We've got to wait a little more for the inevitable. 127 without loss after 11. Winfield Hill and Thomas both have 62. It's been an extraordinary opening partnership, and it's been an extraordinarily one-sided final in the end.
Yeah, because we thought that Glamorgan had done pretty well, actually, to get themselves up past that 120 mark, but Yorkshire have just made this look so easy. It's like they're batting on a completely different track. It's not been perfect, their game today. They obviously dropped a few catches. There's a few things that went wrong, but this chase has been clinical.
1 to win. And again, after Thomas made us wait from the last ball of the previous over, it's now Winfield Hill's turn to not quite get that last run. And this could be caught. It is caught brilliantly. Another anticlimax. Yorkshire still made to wait. It is a magnificent catch coming forward. 127 for 1. Winfield Hill gone for 62. Gemma Porter gets a wicket. Muted celebrations for Glamorgan. But they can at least take pride in having got out one of the greats of the women's game, a World Cup winner. Winfield Hill has to go for a magnificent 62 off 36.
Well, we've seen a bunch of catches drop today, and actually this is one of the more difficult of them, and well caught in the end. It sends Lauren Winfield Hill on her way. You've got to feel for her. She's done all that heavy lifting, and in the end she falls with the scores level for 62 from 36. Great hitting, and it brings Stair Callis out to the middle. And it's like when you've done all the work, you know, you've built a card tower and someone else just does the 2 on the top and goes, look what I've built.
Like when someone joins in a group project at school and contributes minimally, and then they pick up an A on the grading for it.
But I mean, slightly different because Callis hasn't had the opportunity to contribute earlier on. She just gets to put the cards on top of the card tower.
Callis, the heroine of the semi-final, so maybe fitting that she could finish it off for Yorkshire. She made 65 not out in the win at Radlett. Yorkshire need 1 to win from her now. And it will be wided. And that will be it. Well, a great anticlimax to finish it. Regardless, Yorkshire take victory. Winners by 9 wickets with 52 balls to spare. And whilst the conversation around the rain has dominated the day, in the cricket we got on field, Yorkshire no doubt your deserved champions. They were thrashed by 10 wickets by Middlesex in the Vitality Blast T20 final earlier on this season. Losers in the County Cup quarter-final, but they step into Tier 1 next season with silverware in the cabinet, and quite deservedly so. Outstanding from Erin Thomas and Lauren Winfield Hill with the bat. Don't forget Olivia Thomas with the ball. Your Metrobank One Day Cup League 2 winners are Yorkshire.
Yeah, it was astonishing in the end, as chases go. I mean, a bit of a damp squib the way it all finished, but perhaps fitting because it's going to be very damp, I think, this afternoon. But Yorkshire, well, they deserved that win. They were just the better team on the day, especially with the bat. And it was Lauren Winfield Hill who just came out, and she just really put down a marker, didn't she, on that chase. She meant business, and they've done it at an absolute canter.
They've saved their best cricket for when they have needed it most, Yorkshire. They went into that game against Kent needing victory to try and secure their semi-final spot. They won at Kent very comfortably. They beat Middlesex in the semi-final at Radlett, and then today Olivia Thomas 3 for 14 from her 4, and Winfield Hill 62, Thomas 62 not out. An unusual final. Great credit to the umpires and the ground staff who've done a fantastic job in particular to make sure we've got a final that is completed on field, because there's every chance that the players are going to be drowned rats like all of us once the rain starts really cannoning down in the post-match presentation. But ultimately, it is A really good win for Yorkshire. I would have to say, though, that Olivia Thomas, for my money, has been the MVP of the day, because Olivia Thomas is the reason that Yorkshire are chasing 127 rather than 150 or 160, and that takes some of the pressure off Winfield Hill and Thomas. Erin Thomas, that is. Don't forget that when Olivia Thomas comes on to bowl, it's 50 without loss in the 6th over. It's a great start from Parfitt and Freeborn. And so ultimately we would probably say that Olivia Thomas player of the day, but she's also had an excellent tournament. Probably the all-rounder of the comp, or one of, averaging 28 with the bat and 13 with the ball. There isn't actually a player of the tournament award. There's a player of the match award, though, in this final, and there's a post-match presentation, which I would think is going to end with Yorkshire lifting the trophy in pouring rain. It should be good.
Sounds very Yorkshire, if you ask me. So that's completely fine. I don't think at this point they would mind what the weather is doing at that point, because they've won the game. They've turned up today. It's been, there's all this discussion of what was going to happen with the weather, how the match was going to go down. We arrived, we found out it was going to be a T20, and actually they've just gone about their business. They've been clinical from the off, and they are deserved winners today. Definitely the better team on the day, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to get yourself into the final, and then it is just what you do on the game. Doesn't matter at that point if you've won 8 out of 8, if you've won enough to just about scrape yourself into the final. It's what you can do on the day here, and Yorkshire, they have performed wonderfully today. A few drop catches, and that's probably the only thing really where they went wrong at all, and actually didn't cost them anything in the end anyway.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with you soon for the post-match presentation.
Right. Hello, guys. Anyone?
All the fun and all the games, they all start here with All Stars Cricket. skills, friendships, smiles, dreams. It all happens here. Every session is all-out action. All invited, even mums and dads. That, ball, catch, go. All-stars and all-stars.
Our games are full of action.
This is the way we play. Give it 100. Sign up now.
Our games are full of action.
This is the way we play. Give it 100. Sign up now.
Welcome to Worcester for the post-match presentation. Yorkshire the winners by 9 wickets with 52 balls to spare in the slightly increasing rain here at Glamorgan that should make for good fun across the next few minutes. We start with your player of the match, deservedly for her 3 for 14 with her leggies. It's Olivia Thomas. Olivia, congratulations. You've already picked up your well-deserved medal. A fantastic performance, a fantastic season for you. Just talk us through the emotions of a day like today.
Yeah, buzzing. That's all I would say. I'm just absolutely buzzing. Obviously, losing the T20 finals, we came here knowing that we wanted to win, and just put that performance we put in. It was a pretty complete performance all round, really. So, yeah, I think everyone's just buzzing.
Tough day to be a leg spinner. You can see your lips are basically going purple. You were breathing on your hands. Like, talk us through what was going through your mind.
Well, I got here this morning and I thought, not today. Like, it's cold, it's wet. It's not what you want bowling leg spin, is it? But I just think try and get the ball as dry as I could. Just try and get it down there and try and do my job.
And what's it meant to you? You started this season at Lancashire, you finish it lifting a trophy at Yorkshire, having made yourself a key part of the 11. You've signed a rookie professional contract. Could you have expected all this from 2025?
Nah, it's mad. Like, if someone had told me 12 months ago that this is where I'd be, this is what I'd be doing, I'd be opening the batting line in Winfield Hill, I'd be bowling in a final, like I'd have just told you to do one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was never, but to be where I am now, I'm just over the moon. I'm absolutely buzzing. Couldn't have gone any better.
You're a bit of an inspiration for a lot of people as well who are neurodiverse. You've talked about your autism, your ADHD on that Nobles That Cricket podcast as well. What does it mean to represent that community as well?
I just think, yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, like, it's tough at times, and I think if you can have someone to look up to. As a kid, I didn't really like looking at sports people. There weren't that many. I think to be able to be that is pretty cool. Like I say, it's just someone to look up to, and I hope I can be that for kids coming through.
Congratulations,
Thank you. Cheers, thanks.
That's your player of the match, Olivia Thomas. We can now hear from your losing captain, Lauren Parfitt of Glamorgan. Lauren, a tough day, a strange day, but I presume even in the disappointment you can take a lot from what's been an incredible season.
Oh look, really positive season for us to even be in the final. Yeah, very different to what we actually expected in terms of expecting to play 50, but the weather kind of changed that for us. And look, we got to give them credit where credit's due. They came out and blew us out the park and away with the batting, and all credit to them.
What do you think made the difference? You and Abby Freeborn were going really well at the top and then never quite got that momentum back.
Yeah, probably the difference between was the loss of wickets. We lost wickets at key points and they didn't. They accelerated on and batted really well.
In terms of a season, a first season in this big restructure, semi-finalists defeated in the Blast, runners-up, going to Tier 1 in 2027. It feels like there's a lot of positive strides that you've made.
Oh, we're really proud of what we've achieved this season. and look, we've got another year at Tier 2, and we'll look to progress that next year and then on into Tier 1 in 2027.
Just any message for the Welsh supporters out there?
Thank you very much for all their support their season. Look, we're really proud to not only represent Glamorgan, but it feels like, you know, we know we're representing a country. They travel, lots of people have travelled everywhere to watch us play, and see you next season. Thank you very much.
Disappointing day, but congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Your Glamorgan captain, Lauren Parfitt, and we can now hear from Lauren Winfield-Hill, winning skipper, in contention for that Player of the Match award. 62, not quite hitting the winning runs, one of those curious moments, but what a day, what a season, a strange day. Your first thoughts on that final?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a strange 24 hours, not knowing what was going to happen with the game and whether it would be reduced, the weather around. But to come out and play like that, we were hurting a lot from the T20 final because we just didn't play the way in which we'd played the entire season up to that. Whereas today was it was just a continuation of what we've been doing rather than being a separate event and ripping up the script and doing something different. So we just played the way in which we've played the majority of the season, and yeah, really pleased for the girls.
What was your thoughts when Parfitt and Freeborn were going well early doors, and how much of a difference did Olivia Thomas make there?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a good wicket. Fair play to the ground staff here, and you know, we have had weather around, but that was a real decent surface. It was skidding. Actually, the dew actually made it skid on quite nicely. So I think it's just about staying calm. You know, if you get one or two and you get out of the power play and you can spread the field, the game can change very quickly. But yeah, fair dues to the girls, just hang in there and turn the game, and we knew that if we could control a few overs, then we could claw our way back into the game.
You've had some tough moments in knockout competitions this season, that T20 final loss to Middlesex, the quarter-final County Cup defeat, both by 10 wickets against Middlesex, against Warwickshire. How much did it mean on the big stage today to turn up and actually dominate on a showpiece?
Yeah, I mean, it's just about reflecting and using that hurt to try and right your wrongs, really. And I think the main thing, you know, we just stayed really relaxed. We had a great buzz around the group for the last 2 or 3 days. There's been some real, fun energy, and it felt very different going into today. And I think, you know, it just goes to show you're better off for those experiences. And, you know, we've learnt from that, and we've put our rights wrong today. Congratulations on a fine season, Lauren. You better get out there and lift the trophy. Thank you. So, Lauren Winfield-Hill, your winning captain, and just being announced by Rob Scanlon over the PA, your player of the match is Olivia Thomas. This entire Yorkshire side can take great pride in what they've done this season. Yorkshire are your Metrobank One Day Cup League 2 winners, a trophy lift to remember as well, and thankfully the trophy itself is just about been put back together to be lifted again, and the rain has mercifully held off here at Worcester, on which note we should also finish by saying big congratulations to Yorkshire, but congratulations to Glamorgan as well. You're beaten semi-finalists Middlesex and Northants, and superb work from the umpires and the ground staff to be able to get a final in these circumstances was outstanding. A lot of common sense used as well, reducing the game to a T20 affair, and that was what helped us be able to make sure the game was completed on the field. If it wasn't completed on the field, then the trophy would have been shared, but instead, as the rain starts to hammer down here at New Road, Yorkshire's coaching staff and players can celebrate finishing the season with a trophy, a great springboard as they move up to Tier 1 next season. Thank you very much to you all, wherever you've been across the world, for your company. We hope that you've enjoyed the work of yours truly, Michael McCann, Georgie Heath, and all the hard-working, fantastic production crew from Badger and Coombs. We'll be back next Sunday for the Metrobank Tier 1 one-day final. But for now, from New Road, we bid you a fond farewell. Goodbye.